All right, so back to part two. The friends that were telling me nothing happened were men and women. I am not still in communication with the majority of those people who told me that nothing happened. They weren't necessarily like best friends or anything. They were more so acquaintances and good neighbors, like, people that I partied with often because I was in a party building. But I can't say that they were like besties or anything like that. No. All right, so this leads me to a dentist appointment that the menace had. The menace said that he had a dentist appointment. He had to get a tooth pulled. I was like, oh, like, do you need me to pick you up? And I was like, are they putting you under, putting you on like laughing gas or anything? Do you need me to pick you up? And he was like, no. They said that they don't need to put me under. They're just numbing the mouth. So I'll be good. I'll be able to, see you afterwards. And I'm like, okay, cool. So he comes back from his dentist appointment, has gauze in his mouth, and is like, man, my tooth hurts so bad. Like, it was so bad. They didn't finish the extraction. They only took out like half the tooth, and they were like literally pulling on it. And I don't even think like it was ready to come out. They couldn't get the whole tooth out. And he's like, I need Percocets. And I'm like, they didn't give you pain medication? And he's like, nah, they didn't send it in yet. Like, I need something right now. Like, anybody who has something right now? And I'm like, no, like, I have Tylenol. Like, you want some Tylenol? So after this day, I noticed that he wasn't at work for a few days. And so I'm like, you haven't been going to work? And he's like, nah, since I had gotten back from the dentist appointment, they told me to stay home because they could just tell that I was just so out of it at work. I want to leave. I didn't want to go home, but like they just told me I was so out of it. And I was like, well, you told them you could work and you didn't want to go home? He's like, yeah. And I was like, well, they can't tell you that you have to leave. They can't make you leave for a medical condition if you're saying you can work and your doctor didn't say that you can't work. So that's illegal. They can't do that. And he's like, no, it's cool. Okay.
Hi guys, if you watch it up to this point, please don't forget to subscribe. Now, I just want to add something. It seemed to me like there's so much red flags going on around this relationship, but yet she chooses not to believe that. Well, I can quite agree with you and I can quite agree with her. It's not really easy to just pick out red flags on people. We always want to give them enough evidence of doubt, especially when we love them. But let's just go right into the video and watch till the end.
So one day this same week, we go to one of his best friend's house. It's his best friend, their family, and their dad. And we're there, we're cool, and they're like, oh, let's pop a bottle with you. And I was like, oh, wait, like, we didn't bring anything. I was like, nah, the menace, we need to go to the store and we need to bring something. Like, I'm not coming here empty-handed. Like, they just fed me. They just popping a bottle now. Like, nah, like, I don't move like that. Like, go to the store, go get a bottle. We go to the store, get a bottle, come back, pull up in the driveway, and the menace gets a phone call. And the phone call is HR. And the mayor's office just fired the menace. While I'm in the car, I hear the entire phone call. It was extremely brutal. They were literally on the phone like, we don't have to tell you why we fired you. Just know we're firing you. Like, we're letting you go. But I don't have to tell you why. You can contact so-and-so and so-and-so. Go ahead and turn in your equipment on this day, and that's it. And I'm just like, and they were like, and the menace is asking, like, why? Like, what happened? Like, what did I do? And he's like, I don't have to tell you anything. And I'm like, oh. Ooh. So we're in the driveway of his friend's house. And we walk inside. My face is bloodshot. Like, I'm in my head, I'm like, what do I do right now? Like, I'm in a relationship with this guy. He just lost his job. And I really don't want to stay with him beyond losing his job. And I think that was written all over my face. And my intuition at this moment was like, leave him right there. Like, leave him at his friend's house. Go ahead, pull up out of that driveway and leave him at his friend's house. But inherently, I'm not a bad person. So I'm there, and the dad of his friend like pulls me to the side and is talking to me, and it's like, man, he's like a really good guy, like, you know, don't give up on him. Like, I know, like, he lost his job, like, it's not, you know, he'll get another job. Like, don't do that to him, man. Like, don't give up on him. Like, he's a good guy. Like, this is a 60, 70 something year old man, like, talking to my 20 something year old behind, telling me that this man is a good man. And don't give up on him. He's a good guy. Like, just take care of him. Just take care of him. So I'm sitting at this friend's house, and the friend is starting to tell me stories about old stories and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, man, he used to be so wild. I don't know what you're doing. Like, you're doing such a great job with him. He used to be so wild. This isn't the first time I heard this. So I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what does this mean? And he's like, well, you know, when his parents died, he got into drugs and was just doing really bad. And, you know, he's clean now. He's doing good now. Like, but he just, like, he spiraled. Both of his parents died in a short period of time. He spiraled out of control. Like, but he's clean. Like, he's been good. He's been good for a while. Mind you, this man told me that his parents died in 2019, around the same time my dad died. He trauma bonded with me over that. He said his dad died on a holiday. My dad died on a holiday in 2019. I don't know if his dad really died on a holiday. I have no freaking idea. To fast forward to this point, his parents, his dad had just died months before he and I met. And I had no idea. So when this friend is trying to tell me that he was on drugs around the time his parents died, his friend is literally talking about like yesterday, making it seem like it was years ago. So now we start to get into the drugs. All right, so now he has a half a tooth gone. He now has Percocets that are supposed to be prescription for his teeth. And he now does not have a job. So let me just check something really quick. My intuition was telling me to leave after he lost the job. My moral compass is what made me stay. But I really strongly believe that it was my intuition, like, this is another red flag. Go. Like, go. Like, that's what was happening. And my moral compass overrode my intuition. Because I was like, that's messed up. Like, I can't do that to him. Like, you know, like, he was just working for the mayor. Like, he's been there for, like, over a year. Like, he can easily get another job. You know? But that was not the case. That was not the case, and we're going to get there. So, his teeth. He now has Percocet. All right, cool. I now hear a conversation with him on the phone with his sister. Apparently, he has this large inheritance. His sister has to sign off on him taking out money from his inheritance, and he has to sign off from his sister taking out money from the inheritance. So they both basically have to be in agreement for either one of them to take money out of the inheritance. That's what he said. I don't think that that's true. I think that his sister has control over his inheritance, and I think that she's fully capable of having control over her own, and I think that that's the way it was set up. I think it's one-sided. She has control over his. But neither here nor there, that's alleged. That's just my thoughts. So anyway, he's on a phone call with her about getting money out of the inheritance because he has to get the rest of this tooth extracted. I don't hear the other side of the phone call. I don't know if he was really on the phone. I don't know, but that's what's going on. He's supposed to be getting money for this tooth. Bet. All right. So now some time is going by, and I've started noticing little changes in his personality. And one day, he walks into my house mumbling, like just babbling off at the mouth. I don't know, like, I'm really not making out too many words that he's saying. And I'm kind of like, okay. So the next day, once he's talking normal again, I was like, what was that? What was that? And he's like, what? And I'm like, you were just mumbling words yesterday. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And he was like, oh, yeah, I was just really drunk. I was really drunk. Like, really drunk. Yeah, my bad. I was just really drunk. And in that moment, I was like, you were not drunk. That is not alcohol. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to ever see it again. If I see it again, we will not be together. And that was that. That was that. So after this conversation, he starts talking about how he would never try boat and how he would never try meth. And I'm like, okay, that's random. Like, all right. And he's like, yeah. Like, I would never try boat. I would never try meth because, like, I think I would end up being addicted to those things. So I would just never try them. Like, do you see these people out in DC and, like, what they're doing and blah, 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 and, like, how they are on the streets? I would never try boat and I would never try meth. So I'm like, okay, what's boat? What's that? And he goes into this whole spiel of what boat is. And long story short, it's PCP, and it's a slang word for PCP in DC. And he goes into this long story about it, and I'm like, how do you know all this? And he's like, I mean, you know, I work for the mayor. Like, I was working for the mayor. Like, I have to know this stuff. I've been working for a long time, and I have to know this. Like, I'm the person who's, like, out on the streets who's supposed to be, like, helping people and, you know, just being a role model and things like that. Like, I have to know about these things because it's really prominent in DC. And I'm like, okay. Okay. So moving forward from there, I started noticing that my tolerance for liquor was getting really low. And my tolerance for liquor really isn't that low. Like, I can go shots for shots. I can go rounds for rounds. Like, my tolerance for liquor was not low. Cutwater was my thing back then. If you live in DC, you know, like, or just in the States, like some places, if you know, you know. Cutwater was my thing back then. And he, like, was always bringing gifts. Every time I saw him, he always had a gift, always had something. And a lot of times it was like a new thing of Cutwater. And I couldn't figure it out. Like, I was just like, okay, maybe I need to cut back on Cutwater. But it was like anything or anytime I was drinking with him, my tolerance was so low. Like, my migraines started increasing. Like, I've always been prone to migraines. My migraines started increasing, and it just started taking me, like, way longer than usual to get over alcohol. And my brain started getting, like, really foggy, and it just started getting really weird, like, brain-wise. It just started getting really weird, really foggy, and, like, really jumbled. And I was just kind of like, what is going on? Like, what? Like, this is not, yeah, no. Like, even, like, I had stopped drinking liquor and was just drinking wine. Even, like, sometimes I would just be, like, chilling out, drinking wine. Like, it would happen. And the culprit is that I was always around him. So, fast forward to knowing what I know now, I was being drugged. My alcohol was being drugged when I was with this person. Multiple times. Because and I think that this problem happened, or he started doing this because I was very adamant about no drugs in my home. And whatever that was weird, and it's not going to happen again, or I will not see you again. And so he started working overtime and underhandedly trying to get me addicted to drugs. All right, part 5. This is my last part for the night, and after this, I'll probably get on live. We'll see. It's 2:50 a.m. So anyway, the tooth. I think that tooth is still in his mouth. If there is a missing tooth, I think it happened long before my situation with him. I think that him complaining about a tooth and missing a tooth And all of that, I think that that was just a ploy for it to be acceptable for him to have painkillers around me. Because I have quite literally already been very adamant about no drugs, you know? Like, your friend already told me you had a bad spell. Okay, I accepted that. We moved on from that. There's no such thing as drugs around me. So I think that's what the two situation was. Like, it was just for him to be able to have Percocets around me. So with a narcissist, you always get the truth within a lie. Always get the truth within a lie. So with him being like, oh, I never take boat, or I'll never do meth, or whatever the case may be, something I would never even think about. That's because that's what he was doing. So when he was mumbling and babbling off at the mouth, that was boat. Mind you, I am telling this story in hindsight. Hindsight is 2020. Now I've done the research. Now I've talked to people who know him. And now I've kind of figured out like all this stuff that was happening. You know what I mean? So I'm telling this story in hindsight. This is in present moment, the stuff that I know now. I did not know this stuff when it was happening. Okay? Like, so now I'm getting headaches consistently, migraines consistently. This person is now living in my house and I'm getting consistent migraines. I'm going back and forth to my doctor. My doctor's trying to figure out what's going on. We're doing brain scans. We're getting blood work. We're doing all this stuff trying to figure out why, like, I'm getting migraines the way that I'm getting them. He's switching in and out my medicines. Like, he's giving me sample medications, like, try this, try that, try this. And we're going through this whole thing of me trying to fix these migraines. So in the midst of having all these migraines and stuff, the menace is like, you really need to try Percocets. Like, I promise you, like, it'll work. Like, just try Percocets. And he's begging me for some time to try these Percocets. And I'm like, no, my doctor got it. Like, my doctor will handle it. Don't, like, nah, like, we're figuring it out. I need to have, like, a medication that works for me, like, going into Korea anyway. So, like, we'll figure this out. You feel me? And the menace is begging me to try Percocets. So eventually, I finally try Percocets. And immediately, I'm like, why does this feel different? Because I have been prescribed Percocets in the past, multiple times. And so he's like, it's 30 milligrams. Like, you've probably only been prescribed 5 or 10 milligrams. Like, it's 30 milligrams. That's why, like, it feels different. Like, it's the same. It's just Percocets. It's just a higher dosage. I'm sure you can guess by now what those Percocets were. But I am done with this story time for right now. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm going to get on live for a little bit, maybe to clear up some questions that y'all may have or some gaps for, like, this point on to part 5. But we'll pick this up tomorrow for part 6. Bye.
Guys, please share your thoughts in the comment section. I really find a lot of red flag here and there, but I feel like she's in love and then she couldn't really pinpoint them. But then, you people who must have had experiences with narcissists should have something to say. Well, I'm just gonna wait in the comment section.